name is Miss House.
And my name is Miss Philpott.
Transition. Transition is what brings us together today. Transition planning, that dream within a dream.
Hi everyone, as Miss House stated, today we are going to talk about transition planning. We'll talk about what it is, who is qualified, then, we will talk about a landmark case and its implications, and lastly we'll discuss what it looks like in practice.
Transition planning helps students with disabilities make a successful transition from high school to post-school activities. Under Section 504 of Rehabilitation Act, which is a civil rights law, institutions that receive federal funding must provide services for an individual with disabilities. Regarding transition, the main provision under 504 is leveling the playing field in post-secondary institutions.
The next law we'll talk about is IDEA, which stands for Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This is the most significant law. I have written what the definition of transition services is according to IDEA on the chalkboard. A coordinated set of activities for student, designed within an outcome-oriented process, which promotes movement from school to post-school activities, including post-secondary education, vocational training, integrated employment, continuing and adult education, adult services, independent living, or community participation. The coordinated set of activities shall be based upon the individual student's needs, taking into account the student's preference and interests, and shall include instruction, community experiences, the development of employment, and other post-school adult living objectives, and, when appropriate, acquisition of daily living skills, and functional vocational evaluation.
Sue, when do you have to start this thing?
Part of IDEA is that transition planning should begin at the age of 16. States such as Texas begin at 14 years. States and parents can always request to have a plan in place before they are 14, but by law, they don't need one yet.
Well, how do you know if you are qualified?
Good question. IDEA mandates that all students who have an IEP under IDEA must receive transition planning services as part of their IEP. Factors included are academic preparation, community experience, development of vocational and independent living objectives, and if applicable, a functional vocational evaluation.
Yes, and I have read that the law also requires that a statement of the student's transition goals and services be included in the transition plan.
Yes, you are correct. And schools must report to parents on the student's progress toward meeting his or her transition goals.
Do you have to stick with that plan through high school?
The IEP by law should be reassessed every year. It is important to revisit transition goals and progress during the meetings to make sure the goals are still the same.
Let's talk about the background for a bit, and ideas going into transition planning. Implementing transition planning in IDEA was part of a bigger picture of education reform of the 1990s. At that time there was a widespread growth of business and also change to an information-based on economy.
Yes, and laws such as School to Work Act and Educate America Act were pushing for all students to be career ready. So, transition planning was a natural part of this process when writing IDEA, 1997.
Yes, thank you for sharing your knowledge.
There are 4 crucial ideas embedded in the transition law: individualization, self-determination, independence, and fulfillment of SPED. Individualization in IDEA recommends that parents and students be involved of decision-making. Plans for transition consider students' unique skills, abilities, and interest.
And self-determination is shown in the way interest surveys are used and students are a part of the goal-setting process.
IDEA's purpose is that students with disabilities leave school prepared for post-secondary education, self-sufficiency, and employment. This demonstrates a value of independence. In 1995, Yankton School District vs. Schramm was a landmark case. Tracy Schramm, 18 years old, diagnosed with cerebral palsy. She required assistance in her personal life. Before Tracy's 16th birthday, in March 1994, the school district met with her parents to discuss transition services under IDEA. Tracy's plan was to go to college away from home, so she wanted specifically designed instruction in driver's education, self-advocacy, and independent living skills. Tracy's parents signed a transition plan that placed nearly all responsibility on them. At the end of 9th grade, the district planned to dismiss Tracy from its SPED program. The parents stated that the district failed to consider Tracy's transition need requirements, so they requested an impartial due process hearing.
Wow, so what happened at the hearing?
Well, school officials claimed that Tracy was no longer eligible for special education.
What? That is ridiculous. She had cerebral palsy.
Yes, Yankton School District argued that her impairment did not adversely affect her educational performance, as she was no longer taking PE. Tracy received excellent grades, so the district reasoned that Tracy's impairment did not affect her learning ability, which meant she was not disabled within the meaning of IDEA. The school district argued that any adaptations that Tracy needed were covered under 504, which meant she no longer needed an IEP and would no longer qualify for transition planning.
So what did the parents say?
The parents argued that her disability did indeed affect her ability to learn. So who do you think won?
Parents.
School.
Parents.
Parents. Tracy remained eligible under IDEA for transition services and other benefits until she graduated from high school.
Oh, so this case meant that a student's academic success in high school due to their accommodations should not be a barrier to receiving whatever transition services they may need to be equally successful in college, including instruction in daily living skills.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, so, this is all interesting, but what does it actually mean, in real life?
Transition planning generally involves 3 major activities: coaching students and family members to think about goals and making a plan. This usually involves transition assessments, designing a high school education that ensures students will gain the skills needed to achieve their desired goals, and identifying needed post-school services and supports, and linking students and families with them.
Let's watch a sample transition plan meeting. You will see Jake, a junior, who falls under the disability category of emotional disturbance. You will also see his parents, his math teacher, his special education teacher, and his school counselor.
Welcome to our yearly transition meeting. As a reminder, we have already completed some of the transition assessments, including career occupational preference systems and the Life After High School questionnaire.
Jake, can you tell us about some of your interests?
Cars. I'll attend technical college and become an auto mechanic.
And as the parents, what are your wishes?
For him to live independently after school is completed.
Great. Let us look at how we can implement those ideas into 4 goal areas for Jake. First, community employment.
One benchmark could be Jake will observe 3 jobs. He has shown personal preference and aptitude through the transition assessments. He will identify 1 job that he would like to explore.
The next area is vocational training. How about Jake will participate in the social skills group offered by the school psychologist for 3 months.
Jake will improve and reduce his inappropriate reactions to certain social interactions as observed by the school psychologist.
Let us discuss post-secondary education. Jake, do you have a suggestion?
I will take the Intro to College Studies course at some point.
Great. How about in the spring? You can begin this plan at the local community college. Next is independent living.
By the end of May, Jake and his case manager can research independent housing options and he will apply for Section 8 housing.
Wonderful. We have had a successful meeting. Thank you.
Peace.
That was a short meeting, but I hope it was helpful for you to see.
And this concludes our time together. Remember the following considerations when planning transition: promote self-determination, involve people who are important to the student, and be realistic with goals.